Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Live Your Spa Life show. Spa life is a lifestyle that accepts that accomplishment and harmony coexist. The spa and spa life, the SPA, is for seek power always, that power within you to do your bigger work in the world. I am so thrilled to introduce to you today my special guest and dear friend, Laura Rubinstein. And she is an award-winning social media and marketing strategist. She's a certified hypnotherapist, a master leadership coach, speaker, and best-selling author. Laura, welcome to the show.
Hi, Diane. I'm so excited to be here.
This is so exciting because, for those of you who may be going like, hey, I've seen these two ladies together before, we are from the Feminine Friday, which is a platform that we have co-created together using some cards that Laura has created. In fact, we can actually just jump into that. Let's show those cards, those famous cards.
The Feminine Power cards, yes.
They're so great. And so let's just go, you and I really had we socially connected, we've done some walk and talks together, and we really saw that we had this platform together about feminine power and what that meant and some conversations around it. And that was really what spurred us doing the Fridays. And I think it's helpful for people to kind of have a background of how you created the cards and how you utilize them.
Well, maybe like some other people could relate. I was in a relationship for a very long time, like 7 years, and we broke up, and it was pretty painful. And what I was left with was me, and I could no longer really use as an excuse this relationship and the other person in the relationship. He was not the problem, although I thought he was, because when he was gone, I was still not that happy. So I kind of have this very curious nature to myself, and luckily, because I also have a very critical nature, and I really started to see that. And I dove right in. I was like determined to figure out what will it take to create a juicy, harmonious relationship with a man, because I had no clue. And I admitted that to myself, and then I sought mentors, and I read books, and I went to training programs, and I went into therapy, and I did spiritual quests, and you name it. If it was put in front of me, I was open. And I did a lot of journaling and soul searching, and then I did a lot of practice with men. I considered, because I was dating and at the time, and I considered all men practice to learn more about me and how I could be a better person in relationship, right? And what would that, and who is the best person for me as well? What was I really looking for as well? So it's not just about what do we want in a mate. And I was at this networking meeting, and probably 1999, and this woman stood up at the front of the room, and she said, "Hi, I lead these gatherings for succulent wild women, and we talk about something that's like the most powerful form of energy in the world or in the universe, and that is feminine power." She left the stage because it was like a 30-second thing, and I don't know what that meant, but all I knew is I had a big question mark. I beelined for her, and I said, "I don't know what that means, but I think I need to know, can we have lunch?" And I left that lunch with her feeling like I had champagne bubbles running through my whole body. And I was like, whatever she has, I want that quality. And she'd explained to me what feminine energy is. And at that point, I thought, feminine? Well, I'm from New Jersey. I'm like kind of bottom line, very logical. I'm not feminine. I don't even like Laura Ashley prints and lacy things and flowers and things. Like, don't even bother me with that. And so I can't be feminine. There's what do I need that for, right? And then I kind of learned all these other aspects about myself that I hadn't even considered were feminine to be feminine, like the multitasking and the depths to which I was feeling things and the nurturing. And I'm like, oh my God, there's all this other stuff. And every time I'd get a new aha, I'd write it down on an index card as a principle that I wanted to embody more, and I wanted to be more, bring out more, and acknowledge more, embrace more, and really live that way. So I had this whole deck of index cards after a few years, and at one point it dawned upon me I probably have some wisdom here that can be shared in a deck, a real deck, like that I could sell to people and share with people as gifts, and they could do the same. And so it's really something I keep at my desk anytime. And I kept those index cards at my desk. I still have them somewhere, not right here, but for a long time they were right in my second drawer on my left side. And if I was like feeling like struggling or whatever, I just flipped through the card until the right one came up that said, yeah, that's what I need. That's the message. That's the piece of wisdom I need right now. Let me remember that. Let me write about that. Let me think about that. Let me just, that reset me. Sometimes it was instant reset, and other times I had to be like, oh, I still don't have it yet, and I want that.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
really kind of,
Well,
it prevented me from going down rabbit holes in my mind. And if you can relate to that, and I think people get trapped in the rabbit holes.
Right, definitely. Well, and I love that, sometimes we forget what we know, right? And there's all the knowledge that we can gather and things that can happen, but there's those knowingness things that is just through our life experience that, we've cultivated or somebody told us about or something where, we've integrated it in a way where it's become ours. And one of the things I love that you've created with these cards is that, it's that collective wisdom, right? And it's there. And so anytime I read one of them, I look at it, what's my interpretation of it? And it's part of the conversations that we have. It's like, so, how does that trigger the knowingness that I have, and how can I apply that to my life? And how it's not just these are Laura's wisdoms. This is collective wisdom of all women and people in general. We've actually had a lot of men who've been coming on our Feminine Fridays because they are really recognizing what they know, right? And not to second guess ourselves in so many different ways. And it's so important to really acknowledge the experience that we've had in life and the things that we can have. And I venture to guess, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about this from you, Laura, is that over time, that the words that are on there, the meaning, the things on there mean things differently over the years because you're at a different place in your life and you apply them in different ways. How have the cards evolved for you over time?
Well, they're really beautiful. It's interesting. They're like timeless wisdom that is applied to the immediate. So how you apply them, like you said, we each have different interpretations depending on what's going on in our lives. So if you just took a training or you just had an interesting conversation with someone and then you pick a card and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so it. So I picked a card for us today, for example. This says joy is the path to love. And when I was not in a relationship, that was really important. It meant to me, I got to go cultivate my own joy because that is the only way that love can get in. But now it's like, oh, you know what? How am I doing my joy now? And it's not about necessarily the path to a loving relationship. It's like, it's opening my heart. Where can I open my heart now more? So, and then you might have a completely different interpretation. So the way the cards work is the principle is on the pink side and the blue side is a practice. So the practice is a combination of something to do in this case and an affirmation. There's also a third type of practice, which is a confirmation. You can see that this one has a star and a smiley face on it. That means it's a something to do and then something affirmation. So what this one says is, joy is my birthright. I choose joy. And then it gives me an action to do. So that was the affirmation. Joy is my birthright. I choose joy. The action is choose one thing right now, today, that will cultivate joy. Examples include light a candle, bathe, sing, walk by the water, smile. They can be really simple. So these are reminders. Like you said, they're not my wisdom. They're reminders that I think are really valuable.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and also, Laura, in your work, you think of as strategists and marketing, like sometimes those are traditionally associated with, very masculine attributes. And so how does your, feminine power principles, how do they relate in your social media and marketing? How do those actually play a part in your greater work?
The work I've done on myself with the feminine's paid off tremendously. I would say when I'm working with a client on their strategy, I'm really feeling into what is their goal, who are they? And sometimes they're blocked. And sometimes I could just say something because I'm so present And I'm like, hey, if this isn't in your joy right now, let's find something else that is. So I don't go down a path with a strategy that's out of alignment. It really helps me keep everything in alignment so that, I'm thinking of that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Yeah.
where the mother says he's got the head, but the wife turns it.
Yes.
Like it's the turning of the head that I help do.
Right. She's in the neck.
The neck, yeah, the neck, right? So I'm sorry if I quoted that incorrectly, but you get the idea, and it's true. I will go direct people into alignment or help them see their way by questioning them, because if I feel and sense it's not on their path they're not on that joy path, then hey, the Maria Kondo thing, live your joy. Only throw it away if it doesn't bring you joy, right? You got to do it. It's got to be aligned, especially if the client has said that is important to them. Like, it's got to be fulfilling to me. And I do hear that quite a bit. So it informs everything. It's like foundational.
Right. So I know that part of your book of social media myths busted, what do you want to share with us, and maybe how it is in alignment with incorporating the feminine principles about the whole thing around social media and online presence?
So in the book, Social Media Myths Busted, The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue, I talk about what's stopping people from using and doing social media appropriately and productively. So too many people have these myths stuck in their head. Like it's too noisy in there. People only talk about cats in their lunch, or it's all negative, or, I'm a proponent of helping people use social media for social good. Let's have more people using it for positivity, right? And bringing out that feminine, like we do every week with the Feminine Fridays. It's so inspiring, and we want that to go viral. I want to see more people sharing and using it and staying out of the myths. So we bust those myths in the book, and I also give you practical steps to take to move forward in your business, in your personal use of it, to make the most out of it. Because if you feel it's a time suck, or it's not worth your time, and yet there's a part of you that thinks you're missing out on something, neither one of those are healthy places to live. Let's live in a productive place with regard to social media. It's not going anywhere right now. And we might as well, if you're in business for yourself, use it productively. If you want to be a force for good in your community, use it that way. Let's see more positivity. Model what we want to see out in the world online. Let's do that.
Definitely. Well, and speaking of being a positive force for good, tell us a little bit about Social Buzz Club.
Yeah, you see it in the background. So it's, if you have any content, if you write blogs, if you have an opinion on something that you want to share out there, well, Social Buzz Club is about people sharing each other's blog posts, primarily out there for each other. So there are programs that you can buy, software where you can schedule your own content. This is not exactly that. However, if you don't have any content of your own, and you need a place to get some really good, positive, mostly business-oriented content, then there's some actually personal development content in there as well. And you want to be able to curate it, meaning share it out there onto your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. So this is a place to share other people's content to your network, or networks, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and them to share yours if you have. And it's gamified. So there's that word, gamified, meaning you have to, it's based on the law of reciprocity. You have to give first, share out other people's content, earn credits as you share. And then when you're ready to submit one of your own for other people to share, you spend, like your frequent flyer miles, your credits on the club to do that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, because, people maybe don't have enough of their own content, or they want to be able to share things that are in vibe with them, that are complementary to them, and be able to do it from a positive standpoint. Because, you're right. I mean, we can either be a force for good, or we can, go down the drain, if you will, in terms of, whatever you're looking for, you'll find it. And to have a platform where you're looking for positivity and making those shifts and changes, really makes, such a big difference in who you are and what you're up to. Share one of the things that you have on your business card. You've got a quote here around the P's. Why is that important to you, and why is that something that's on every single one of your business cards?
Oh goodness. So I've had on my business card for over 15 years, grow your passion, power, and profits. And I believe your power comes from taking responsibility for having what you want in life.
Mm.
So if you find yourself blaming or shaming or judging other people, pointing the finger, or, when somebody says something to you and you say, well, you give an excuse, you are literally taking away your power, your own power.
Yes.
They are power weakening tools. And so when you take responsibility, it means you're not at fault for something, but you have the power to act and make decisions and requests of other people. So you have to be proactive in a way that says, what do I want in my life? Okay, I want love. I want healthy relationships. I want more abundance. I want more clients. Then what are the actions to take that you can control and that you can get your results? So, because the minute you say, oh, nobody wants my stuff, or nobody responds to this, you're powerless.
Right.
You've blamed them for that. You've said, I can't do anything. Well, your brain is going to take that literally and prove it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to turn it around, start asking yourself different questions like, what do I want? Okay, I want a new client. Great. Well, where might my next new client be? Just think of one. Don't go to like, I need all this and I have to put all this in place.
Right.
If you want more love, be more loving. If you don't want someone to disappoint you and you know that you can't change them, then guess what? You either accept them for who they are and stop the disappointment, or change the expectation, or change the nature of the relationship to be one of more acquaintance versus good friend. And I've done that so many times that it really feels empowering to do that, to not in a mean way at all, in a totally loving way, because if it's really good for me and it brings out the best in me, it's good for everyone.
Right. I love this, definition, if you will, around power, about really taking responsibility for your own outcome, for what you want to experience, to what it looks like, because we've had plenty of examples of where we give our power away and we can feel powerless, and not step into being part of it, right? Being part of the solution in that as well. So I just think that's such a great way to look at things, that we have power in everything. I mean, it's all a choice. It's all something that we get to do and to choose and really look at things in a different way. So I do like that. Yeah, definitely. Oh, so good. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about Transform Today. How did that come about? And I know that's one of the ways that our listeners can stay in contact with you.
Yeah, so Transform Today is the name of my corporation, and I founded the name in 2005, and it was just something that spoke to me. My life is about relationships, is what everything that I do is, but it's also about, the transformation that happens with our relationship with ourselves, with other people, in business, personally, and professionally. So it's kind of the umbrella organization for all the things I do, whether it's the Feminine Power Cards, it's the social media and the marketing work I do. So if you want to transform today your business, we'll transform it today, right? So it was kind of a play on words. And then I also do the hypnosis, which is about your relationship with yourself, as well as the Feminine Power Cards. When I first started the business, I was doing a combination of marketing and hypnosis for weight loss. So Transform Today, your body. So I have transformyourbody.com as well. And I have all this word transformation really resonates for me. And I think it's what my work is all about.
Definitely. Oh, I love that. And then, so this is also a blog, correct? So people can, so what are some of the things that you share on there?
So mostly on the Transform Today blog is marketing advice for entrepreneurs, thought leaders, authors, celebrities, visionaries, anyone who has a passion to make a greater impact or influence in the world. increase their influence and make a greater impact. So right now up there you can find a how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and I have a whole, right now it's only going to be available for a little bit longer, but a whole LinkedIn optimization training that if you scroll to the bottom of that blog that's on LinkedIn optimization, you can opt in for that Jumpstart kit and learn how to optimize your profile and then generate leads from LinkedIn. So that will be a paid program in the future. So enjoy it now while it's free.
Nice. That's good. So what's your focus on these days? What is something that you just inspires you?
Well, my passion is fueling other people's passions. So I am highly focused in the marketing arena and guiding entrepreneurs in their social media, using it for social good and for greater visibility and impact so that they can help more people, with their work, whether it's a message or a service or a product. I love helping people get the word out. And I'd say what really is fun for me and brings me a lot of joy is messaging. So I run into a lot of thought leaders who have these incredible programs, incredible services, incredible techniques, but they have even products. They have no idea how to speak it so that their audience who is craving this knows that it's for them. They'll say things like, well, we help you get into your heart and we inspire you and you can live your best life. And that's all nice and good. But these people over there are like, huh? But it's like if you said something more like, are you ready to get out of the rat race and feel like you live your spa life? Are you ready to take your foot off the supermom, accelerator and feel like you're enjoying motherhood, and can really be present with your family? Now you're speaking to specific needs that these people in their minds are like, how did she know that? Right? Minute you can impact them when they know you get them, you can market to them way easier.
Right.
So messaging is what I'm up to.
Yeah, no, I love that. One of the things that, we talk about in terms of like designing your life, like you're really crafting things. One of the things that you talk about, I'd love for you to expand a little bit on, is to tell the truth. And I know it seems like, an obvious, but there's something a little bit deeper with you with that. Can you explain a little bit more about that, about how you use telling the truth as part of designing your life?
Yeah, okay. Got to be careful how you say that because a lot of people will use like brutal honesty and that's just a cloaked criticism. So please do not use that. That's really mean.
Right.
Telling the truth is when people ask me to do something, I will consider what I truly desire. And not like, oh, I have to be saying no more often. If you find yourself that's beating yourself up, stop being mean to yourself. Okay, so telling the truth is really going into a place of feeling and say, okay, well, I feel like I'm beating myself up. Okay, so no, I'm not going to say no just because I feel like I'm beating myself up, right? So we want to go a little deeper, like what is the truth? That's like the real truth. Like, okay, well, I say no, I say yes too much. Okay, that has nothing to do with the request, right? So you have to learn to separate those things and consider the bigger picture of what is in your life, right? And take responsibility for what you want. We'll go back to that thing on my card is like, how do you take responsibility for what you want? Is you make the decision that if it's good for me and it brings out my best self, then do it. And if it is, but you don't have time to do it, then say no for now, right? So you also have to consider your calendar, obviously, and how much you want on your calendar. So it's not from a like, I'm a bad person because I'm so bad at saying no. It's like, no, this is what I'm up to in life. I'm up to having great friends and great connections, and I love parties, but these are the responsibilities I have, and my life is about this. So this party I'm going to say no to, but this one I am going to say yes to because it fits in, right? I'm just saying, like, telling the truth. And there's no reason to make up excuses like, oh, I feel my stomach hurts, I can't come to your party. It's like, you know what? If you can come from a loving, honest place, that's not critical or brutal honesty. It's just say, you know what, it's really not going to work for me this time. You can say that, like, easy. You don't have to
Right.
lie. People are like all about lying to make people feel good. Make yourself feel good and be honest and know and bring out the best of yourself in this. Challenge yourself to be better at telling the truth in a really gracious, honest way. And if you can't find that gracious, honest, words, sit with it some more because you're not ready to speak about it. And just say, hey, I need some more time, or you know what? I think I'm a little overwhelmed right now. I need to take some time. I'm going to have to say no because it's me, not because because of whatever's the truth for you.
Right.
And it's not like you have to tell your whole story and your sob story. Just say, I can't right now.
Right.
If that's the truth for you. Again, avoiding blame, avoiding shame, avoiding lying, avoiding judging, avoiding criticizing.
Right. I love that as a litmus test, right? To be able to ask yourself some deeper questions to see what's true for you, and to be able to, that's part of standing in your power, is saying, hey, what do I want? What is in the best interest of me? Because when you're taking care of yourself, that really is the overflow of that, where you're taking care of other people and you're giving other people permission to do that as well. And to, people are watching, what we're up to and what we're doing. And they are looking for, permission to be themselves. And when you have tools like this and asking yourself these questions, it gives other people not only permission, but tools to do that for themselves as well.
And you know what? There's one more piece of power you have here, which I'd like to address, and it's making requests. So if there's a way you want it to go, or you could say yes, that would like light you up, and they haven't like offered that up, get creative. Like say, you know what? If I could come an hour late and leave an hour early, would that be okay with you? Because then I will get to see you, get to give you a hug, get to spend some time, and then, take care of myself physically or whatever you don't have to give a whole reason. But if it would work for me that way, would that be okay? So there's always ways to make it work if you come from the space of how can I make this work for me? And
Definitely.
that it won't put somebody else out either. Like if you want to make a request that they do something, be prepared for a no. A request is something that they can say yes, no, or counter offer to. All right. And leave it way open for that. Because I love honest conversation between people. It's like, instead of this nice, oh, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't think you would do this, or I don't want to be a burden. That is totally disempowering to yourself to do that. And you're also telling the other person, I'm not going to give you that power either. You're taking away their power to interact with you. And it's a very controlling way of being, even if you think you're not being controlling.
Right, definitely. And, it's honoring of yourself to speak your truth, right? To see what's there for you. And, when we don't do that, or we say, oh, I think that might have hurt, they maybe wouldn't receive me in well, or whatever those things look like, or, the stories that we tell ourselves around that, we're not actually sharing the actual real part of ourselves anyway, right? We're giving a partial version of that. So to be in real relationship with people, you have to be able to be willing to, we've talked about willing, right? That's one of our conversations that we had about willing to have the conversations on a real level, so you can have that real connection. So it's so important to do that. And I love that you have this as a foundation and in the work and what you're up to. And I know that you have a free gift around re-energizing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. So I mentioned the LinkedIn on Transform Today, and you're welcome to go there and get it. But I have a 15-minute vacation for you all. And that's an audio that you can download and listen to at reenergizenow.com. And you just opt in for that. And it's my gift to everyone to take a 15-minute break. And, you'll be amazed at how rejuvenating just 15 minutes is for yourself.
Oh, so great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your wisdom that you have. I always look forward to our time together. And I know that people are going to want to stay in contact with you. I know you've got these free gifts, and the best way to do that would be how?
Just go to transformtoday.com and click on the Contact Me, and you can find out how to contact me there. I'm online as Coach Laura on Twitter, Coach Laura R on Instagram. Find me wherever welcome to check out the Feminine Power Cards at femininepowercards.com as well.
Perfect. Perfect. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Take a breath, settle into your body, feel a little gratitude for the breath and for the moment you've taken for yourself, because you're magnificent and amazing and a really valuable part of this world.
Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate you and everything that you bring to the table. And I know that there are going to be some of our listeners today who are they needed to hear this message. And I want to also thank our listeners for your most precious resources, your time, for being here with us. And we'd love to support you. We'll have in the show notes the links to be able to connect with Laura. We'll also have in the show notes too, my free gift for you is resetyourpowergift.com, so you can see your 5 moves to stand in your power. And make sure that you tag both of us. Any questions, something that's popped up. What was that aha that came up for you that you have further questions about or comments? Please put that in there, and to subscribe and share. I mean, this is the community that we're building. This is how we build, not only our feminine power, but, we expand who we are when we are in community. And so I just really appreciate you all being here and connecting. And until we connect again, live your spa life. Bye for now.